Hey guys, in this video I'll show you the best attack for Arena 6 in Clash Royale. I'll show you three. The first one is basically the P.E.K.K.A push, okay? And this is one of the new cards, by the way, P.E.K.K.A, you'll have access to in Arena 6. So it's good to, get used to how it works. It's one of the best tanky, offense troops in the game, but it requires a lot of support to succeed. And P.E.K.K.A does incredibly high damage to individual units or buildings, but it suffers against any kind of swarm, and it's also very easy to distract, which can lead to problems. And now this deck itself, by the way, it is centered around putting a P.E.K.K.A on your back line, then you support it with support units, and the Witch and the Musketeer. Okay, I would say it's better for be able to clear our swarms and flying units. These are both support rules. Musketeer is better for the higher HP enemies. And to go along with your P.E.K.K.A and support crew, you'll get several more defensive cards in this deck. And the bats are basically great for taking out tanks. They make it across the river without any backup, and they're good for supporting the P.E.K.K.A as well. And the guards, by the way, they are the main defensive ground troop in this deck, as they're able to take a hit from anything at least once and do respectable DPS when they're all focused on the same target. Then we also have the bomb tower to defend against swarms on our side of the arena, and also Electro Spirit. It's just here to help cycle, towards more useful cards or just stun units that are weak against the status effect like Sparky or Prince. And then we have Hog Cycle. Now here, the Hog Rider is the defensive threat. A Fireball is just the spell. I'll get into this. And Hog Cycle has actually been one of the best archetypes in Clash Royale. It's no surprise you'll see this here. And even if you don't end up liking the playstyle of this deck, it's good to get the idea of how it plays out. And you'll see a lot of this as you progress through Trophy Road, so it helps to know how it all works as well. The main threat here is the Hog Rider. It's named after. And Hog Rider only targets buildings, and he moves much faster than the other troops. The goal of this deck is to drop as many Hog Riders on the bridge as possible, which is why it needs such a low elixir cost, as you can see. And cycling through cheap cards is essential for playing more Hog Riders. So your goal here should be just play as many Hog Riders, and knowing how to optimize those cheap cards allows you to defend long enough for your Hog Rider to basically steal the game. And you can also use the Fireball to protect Hog Rider from dangerous swarms like Barbarians, which can make quick work of him. And one of the most important cards in this deck is actually the Knight, okay? Which is basically a great cheap tank. He'll distract most of the enemy troops for long enough for your other defensive cards to come into play. And we also have the Mega Minion, okay, which is great to pair up with the Knight. It's as it's an equally effective defensive troop in the sky, okay. And I would say we also have right here Spear Goblins, which can distract units that easily get through the night, like the mini P.E.K.K.A, or to provide support against all threats. And on the cheaper end of the deck, we mostly have cycle cards. For example, skeletons, great for distracting troops, attack slowly. Fire Spirit can take out low HP swarms like minions. But the main reason they're here is to help us quickly get back to casting Hog Riders. And then the next one is Giant Goblins. So this deck is kind of similar to the P.E.K.K.A deck from before, but it's focused more on the swarm behind the tank than the tank itself. So unlike the P.E.K.K.A, the Giant is much more of a team player. The Giant only focuses on building, so it's impossible for enemy troops to distract him. That makes him, the perfect tank to allow for a swarm of goblins to come up and take out any potential threats. And to back up the Giant, we have two separate goblin cards, as you can see. So we have the Goblin Barrel, the main offensive spell of the deck. And what you do is you just wait for the Giant to cross the river, and it takes the tower aggression. Then you throw a barrel behind the tower, And then we also have the Goblin Hut, which is a strong defensive building, which both distracts and provides a stream of annoying troops for your opponents to deal with. And to support the Giant, we also have a pure support unit, which is the Bomber. Okay, it helps take out the swarms that threaten the giant, does decent DPS if it needs to, and Mini P.E.K.K.A. serves a defensive purpose similar to the bomber, but it's more useful as a way to take out any tanks that can outmatch the swarms. And against units like Hog Riders, Electro Giants, Mini P.E.K.K.A. is actually one of the best defensive units in the game. We have the last two cards. We have Arrows, and we also have Electro Spirit. So they serve simple purposes, and as always, look, Arrows is just the most reliable spell for taking out swarms, and Electro Spirit is the most well-rounded one elixir card, so it's always helpful in any deck to help, lower the elixir cost. So I hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, make sure you smash the like button and subscribe to App Mentor.